Alright everyone, it's time for Occult Literature, video number 304, some philosophy of the Hermetics. Link in the description of my edition of this work on Amazon. Second and third links are to my books, blogs. I'm not even exactly sure where to put this when I do the actual post on the blogs later for this book today. It's 57 pages of very strange material. It doesn't appear to really be structured after Hermeticism. It is occult in nature. It's also very flowery and theatrical, and if you look up the actual author, David Patterson Hatch, you find something strange about him, which is that his most famous book, the only one that I guess sold well, actually he didn't write at all. It was the result of, there was a person, a spiritualist later, that wrote a book of automatic writing, and then one of his relatives purportedly showed up and said it was him, that they could tell because, like, by the language structure. So it's listed as a posthumous work through mediumship. That alone is enough to make the story 10 times stranger, but this entire work, and it's very upfront about the fact that this is what it is symbolic. That is, right off the bat, they say, well, you know, if you don't read between the lines, you're not going to know what the hell I'm talking about, basically. And there's an effort to make, it's in a series of essays on everything from magic and death and the devil, spirits, and so forth. And my thought, the way I'm construing it, I've read it several times, including when I was editing it, it looks like it's a long sort of a polemic about birth, life, mating, and death, and the various problems and dangers associated with that, with a little bit of symbology, which is vaguely anti-religious, at least in the sense of organized religion, vaguely sarcastic about the human condition. I suppose there's multiple ways you could interpret it, but it looks like it's basically the story of life, including its beginning and end. That's the way I'm interpreting it, though. And then that's subjective. Of course, you can, look through it and find maybe your own answers. Very well written. But Hatch is extremely symbolic and theatrical. There's a lot of, like, soaring platitudes, and you get some of the New Age style of writing. One of the ways that people wrote in that era, if they were involved with, like, spiritualism, mediumship and stuff like that, a lot of hyphens, a lot of short, repetitive quotes, things like that. A lot of artificial importance given, especially at the end of paragraphs or sections, to short statements that are lofty deliberately. It's interestingly written. I think the story of the man that actually physically wrote this is 10 times more bizarre. Again, honestly, I don't know exactly how to classify this work. It's kind of mysticism. It claims Hermeticism as a backdrop. I mean, it has elements of the as above, so below style of philosophy, but it's not really a Hermetic work at all. It delves into the idea of spiritualism or spirit rapping and planchettes and so forth, but doesn't really advocate them or anything like that. It talks about the devil, but it doesn't seem to be a specifically Christian work, but at the same time does allude to the renunciation of sin and to resurrection and so forth. It's almost like he took dozens of different kinds of spiritual concepts and mixed them all together into a salad bowl, if that makes any sense. It is a very good work, highly recommended, but it's definitely going to go on that part of your bookshelf reserved for bizarre works that you show your guests and you're like, hey, take a look at this, and then you chuckle at the look on their face when they delve into it and they're like, they don't know what's going on. Again, link in the description to my edition of this work on Amazon, second and third links to my books, blogs. I'm going to try to classify it. I'm not 100% sure where I'm going to put it. That's about all. Peace out.